I do believe we're live. Welcome, everybody. You have reached Bad Science Sunday, where we take a comedic approach to discrediting science misinformation on the internet. And this week, to help us uh, get through Women's Month, we have Gillian.
Hi, everyone. And there's also a girl, Kitty.
Oh, yeah. And Gillian, who did you bring?
This is Phoenix. She is our gracile cat. She's the skinny one.
Oh, my goodness. She's a pretty girl, huh? Aren't
She is
you?
a pretty girl.
She's mad at
Right?
Mama because she woke her up.
I did.
Bad Mama. Um, but yeah, I let's see. Don't remember. Due to an executive order, do you remember that a lot of people were saying that we're all women now?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Tap, welcome to the fold. So yeah, it's
right.
just honorary. We can't even call it Women's History Month anymore. It's just Honorary History Month or
Because
something.
it's all to do
Oh.
with your
Yeah, how
biological,
you were. Yeah, your
presentation
sex
at
at birth
conception.
or some bullshit because nobody on the right knows how biology works. Actually, somebody wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes.
All hail to Donald Trump, the once and future chief. Crazy motherfuckers everywhere are sighing with relief. After 4 long boring years of sanity, hooray, cause it's time to get a working on some seriously fucked up shit. So grab your Sharpie, Mr. T's executive order time. Tell those vile transgender people that their lifestyle is a crime. Your gender at conception is the only one for you. But since all embryos are female for the first 6 weeks, it's true that everybody in America's now female. The most feminist of nations, the first country in the world to declare that all its citizens are female. Whatever chunk you may be packing, you are legally a girl. So all trans women are women, it is written in cement. That's what the president's order said, so it must be what it meant. Congratulations, Donald Trump, you're the first woman president. Cause everyone in America's female now. Excuse me just a moment. I'm a proper scientist. Oh, yeah? The premise of your song's amusing, but you might have missed. Technically, you embryos are neither male nor female yet. I might even say they're genderless. Oh, man, that's even better. Everybody in America's non-binary. So y'all had best get used to calling everybody they. Go put on your gender non-specific finery. And get your ass on Grindr, cause this also means you're gay. And it's only gender fluid people that this won't affect. I don't know if this was the plan, but hey, when you elect a fucking moron to be president, then what do you expect? And all Americans are non-binary. And let me tell you, siblings, that's just fine with me.
Oh, okay. Apparently, due to this proper scientist, I am now non-binary, which also means I'm gay. Hey, everybody, let's get our asses on Grinder.
I have 5 grinders. One
I
for
believe
each
that. I believe that. And I know only physics.
member. Yeah. Indeed.
Is Doc a little low for you, Jillian, or is it just me?
Oh, I can check.
He's a little low.
Tyler said, just joined. What the hell was that? Tyler, if you're an American, we're all non binary. Compliments of Trump's EO.
All right. How about that?
Oh, I love that. Chat, let me know how our mics are. I want to make sure nobody's too high, too low, or blowing out your eardrums. But yeah, it is Women's History Month, and I am doing a really bad job of like showcasing that this month. But I do want to say thanks to a lot of people who came through. One being Apostate Sisters, who helped open Women's History Month with me. And oh my God, I didn't show you. Do I still have that? Yes, my
There you go.
epic, yeah. I think Patty gave me my epic background poster here. Ha ha ha. I love it. I love it, Patty. Thank you so much. Actually, I should probably turn this around so that you can
It's
read the things.
weird, yeah.
But oh yeah, because usually I mirror my camera, but when where
Is that
am
so
I
that you can always point in the right direction?
at? Yeah, Exactly. So over here, I have like Black Lives Matter. That is so true. And over here, we have our abort the court. That's the Supreme Court because they all want us to be in the Handmaid's Tale.
Mm.
Mm. So Jillian, did you decide to look at? Okay, so the last time you were here, we were talking about not psychic. Today's psychic. I can't imagine why I'm thinking about psychic today.
Hmm.
I do like talking about bad science, psychology. And when I was just like, well, at the time, we had just done Jordan Peterson, which is my go to dunk on crazy God, psychology person. But I just found out, people, do you guys remember Blossom from the 90s?
Oh
Uh,
my God.
she's
A
turned
very
into
special episode.
Yeah, she's turned into my field's Sabine Hofstadter, or however you pronounce it, either of her names.
Hoffenfelder. Yeah.
Sure,
Sabine.
yeah. And so I forgot because I grew up with her, so I always knew her as Blossom. And then Doc reminded me, hey, is that the girl from Big
Big Bang
Bang
Theory.
Bang
Theory?
Theory.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, yes, she was on that. She has a
Mhm.
PhD in psychology, I think, or no, she's a
I don't know what it's in.
neuroscientist. She's a
She's a
neuroscientist.
neuroscientist, yeah.
Yeah.
And an anti-vaxxer, though she says she's not.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to do this one, but today, she had a video come out that, was that today? Maybe it was last night. And I sent it to Tap. I was like, oh, look, okay, I now believe in past lives. And yeah, there's a science to past lives and telepathy. And she did a video on it today explaining all of it to us.
Oh, good.
She's just the gift that keeps on giving. But today,
On a very special Bad Science Sunday.
yes, today she's decided to partner. Well, today, for our stream today, we are going to showcase the time she partnered with Deepak Chopra to go over all kinds of crazy batshit fuckery.
Mm.
Oh, you
It-
know what? I'm a bad person. I do want to thank Left-Handed Jedi for gifting us 5 new cult members.
Yay.
And those went out to Omnivore, Spooky Bed Hair, Peter Guns, Captain Crockpot, and Mama Laga. Thank you, thank you. And new cult members, please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas. All right. Doc,
Yeah. So this is the channel, Doctor. I don't know how to pronounce
Mayim
it.
Bialik.
Mayim Bialik. Thank you.
Gallic.
She has a cool 1.68 million subscribers.
She does.
In this case, I like kind of like, at least there are like legitimate reasons that she would have them. But
Gen Xers everywhere are subscribed to her channel,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and this video from 9 days ago has 528,000 views. So, yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah. I was going to add, I mean, well, unless you have like an affinity for 13. I guess you wanted to start here anyway. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I put it right after like a graphic. So he's starting like a new thought. Allegedly it's a thought. Words matter.
I mean,
But,
maybe. I believe he said all emotions are social constructs or some such nonsense. So
honestly, I didn't even know they sold yellow bleach, but yeah, here it goes. Sponsored by Clorox. We're not sponsored by Clorox. Yeah, the title of the video is New Quantum Science, How to Break Old Patterns and Get Limitless Potential, with Deepak Chopra. Now that makes me angry for reasons that I think are obvious. The only way it could be worse is if he had put magnets in the title. So, but, that is I've learned recently against the Geneva Convention. So, yeah, he didn't do that.
thanks, Al.
All right.
Oh, wait, did we do bingo? Al, did you do bingo?
Al, is Al here?
I think I saw Al.
I saw him. He said
I didn't make a bingo, so I don't know.
Okay, no worries.
But,
I was
yeah.
just asking before so we can get ahead of everybody. Oh, Sumami's in the chat. I do want to thank. I was saying this earlier, and I don't know if Joe's here yet, but I do want to thank Sumami, AR, Dave, and Jester for being epic allies. I kind of raged out a little bit earlier, and I heard bigotry, and then I saw red, and I can't be held accountable for the words that come out of my mouth or how they come out of my mouth once you start like just checking off like ticks on the bigot meter, right?
Mhm.
Like you did this to yourself. Like I'm not taking. Yeah, I know I sound a little bit like a domestic abuser, but I'm not taking accountability for it. Jester, my main man. Um, I do apologize to Joe
Well, what
for
the hell am I?
being so rude to the bigot he invited into
For
his chat.
servant.
Now, a lot of you will disagree with me that this person is a bigot, which is totally fine, and we can agree there. I'm not going to die on that hill. All I'm going to say is if you start checking off multiple boxes on the bigot checklist, I don't know what's in your heart. I don't pretend to know what's in your heart. All I know is what you do. And if you do things that bigots do, you might get called a bigot. It's just things. And I'm not immune. I have made bigoted statements, and people were like, "Hey, that's a bigoted statement." And I was like, "Really? Tell me more." And then I stopped making the statements. I didn't fucking
Mhm.
double down. I'm not asking for a whole lot here. Um, but this is what you're gonna have to put up with as long as I'm in the community, and you would invite me into a stream with bigots. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Um, we can the fun thing is like we can all agree, or I'm sorry, we can all disagree and part, having what do you call it? Said everything that needs to be said about our feelings. And I'm gonna what I am gonna double down on though is like it's not a bad thing if people disagree with you. Necessarily, it depends on what their actual stance is. But if somebody doesn't hold your stance, it's a great thing. It takes all different types of minds to make the world go round. And if you're not lockstep with somebody, I think you need to give yourself a pat on the back. It means you're thinking for yourself. So I'm going to stop derailing the stream, and because I have so much to say about everything Deepak Chopra has to say. But I saw some allies in the chat, and I wanted to say thank you because you guys are fucking amazing. And when people do good things, I think that deserves to be acknowledged. Can't be coming with all the problems and none of the answers, right?
Yep.
Indeed. Somebody in chat mentioned that like with this lighting, Deepak looks like an AI generated image, and totally, I absolutely also get that vibe.
Yeah.
So, and the words that come out of his mouth,
Not going to help the situation.
Not going to help the situation. Yeah. All right.
So, in the Eastern wisdom traditions, and also in traditions like the Kabbalah, also in Sufi mysticism, also in Eastern wisdom traditions, the universe is the appearance of cosmic consciousness.
We call it a projection. The Kabbalistic concept is that you're watching something on a screen.
So that's what I'm sympathetic to.
The world is wearing a...
I mean, I know nobody here is like an expert in Kabbalah or however that's pronounced.
I don't know a ton.
Kabbalah stance that this is all a projection? Because it sounds a whole lot like simulation theory.
That sounds a little modern to be Kabbalah to me.
Just saying.
I'm such a shiksa, but that doesn't sound right to me. Oh, are you awake now? Sort of.
mask.
The world is wearing masks. So I'm sympathetic to that. And actually, AI can support that argument. So that's why, I decided AI.
So the AI can support the argument that everything is a projection.
Is the perfect example.
I guess if you
it can.
AI can support any argument.
Right, that's what I was
really
going to say.
good
Like
at
if you
making up
prompt it
bullshit.
properly, yes. Yeah, a lot of cat compliments here.
Yeah, she's a very cute kitty.
Of zeros and ones, and also of zeros and ones soon with quantum computing.
You just can't help yourself, can you?
No.
You just whenever you can, you just bring up quantum, even when it's not.
How does that relate to consciousness? Because consciousness is not computable. Consciousness doesn't have a border, okay? Because it doesn't have a form. If it had a form, you'd be able to see consciousness, but you can't see it because it is what is doing the seeing. Okay, so it has.
I don't.
I'm like, well, what was the content there?
You can't see consciousness because consciousness is the thing that's doing the scene.
I mean,
wow.
So
you know what? I am also.
I don't disagree with that.
Wait, I am also doing the seeing. So that means I'm invisible.
Your consciousness is.
Why? It's not mine? Why am I?
Your consciousness is not visible. You're visible, but
why is my consciousness not me? Or
Well,
how is my consciousness not me?
Why can't my consciousness see your consciousness? Because
that's
mine
a great question
isn't doing your seeing.
Right. So our consciousnesses should be able to see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's thought it through all that much.
I don't know that he's thinking at all. I think it's just like, hey, these are words I learned.
Words are just, there's no filter there. They're just going along.
Right.
I mean, he is one of the best at his craft, which is, bullshittery.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very specific variety of it.
Yeah. Because, there are other examples, unfortunately.
Has no border, which means it's infinite, which means it's spaceless.
Something doesn't need to have a border. Something that doesn't have a border isn't necessarily infinite, okay? The surface of a sphere doesn't have a border.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep on going around. It's not infinite.
Timeless, incomprehensible.
Spaceless, timeless, and immaterial.
Incomprehensible is a good word.
Yeah.
And actually beyond anything that we can conceive or imagine. Freeman Dyson, one of the greatest physicists of our times, who passed away only a few years ago in the mid-90s, from Princeton, originally from Cambridge, he said God is what...
Wait, did he say that he passed away in the mid-90s, which is only a few years ago? The mid-90s were 30 years ago.
Don't remind me.
The mind becomes when it goes beyond the threshold of our comprehension. We just give up because there's no way to compute this mystery, but it is responsible for all computations.
There's a merger, really, between very old Eastern philosophical ideas and the new
ideas in Judaism and ideas in many Western traditions,
many Western traditions,
including philosophers.
Good, a phrenology head in the background.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
I mean, okay.
Wittgenstein said, our life is a dream, we are asleep, but once in a while we wake up enough to know that we're dreaming.
Okay, so the one guy here that isn't Deepak, the other guy, he just said that modern science is resembling or something like it more and more, like ancient Eastern traditions and stuff. Like how is that a thing?
I
Ways.
don't think.
Is it
Yeah, I
as
don't think he's
vague
going
as
to.
everything's connected? Because that's nothing. That's a nothing burger. Like,
Yeah, I don't think he's going
yeah.
to elaborate. I think he's just going to make the statement. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh yeah," and then he's going to ramble on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like his ish.
So waking up simply means going from this projection to what is doing the projection. What is it that does the projection?
That's
And
not what
again,
waking
in
up is. Wait. What is he talking? Waking up to
He's
what?
talking about you go from the projection to the project. I literally he just said it, and I don't know what the words, like the order of the words is, because it's so vacuous.
Everything he says just kind of slips out of my brain because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's just like, so waking up means, and I'm like, are you trying
This
to
is
like,
gonna be rich.
I mean, I feel like he's trying to explain it, but like it means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's such vague new age nonsensory that it appeals to a certain kind of middle class person who wants to feel deep without putting in any of the actual work to understand, things.
Oh, there are plenty of properly rich folk who love Deepak.
Well, yes, that's true. But he most of his money on the middle class ones because there are more of them.
Well,
More of them to buy the books.
I do wonder if they paid him to come on this podcast.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Traditions.
They at least paid to fly him out and, put him up in a hotel.
The projection. And again, in Kabbalistic traditions, and in Sufi traditions, we are a drop in the ocean of the divine mystery.
Okay.
Rumi has a great poem. He says, you're not just a drop in the ocean, you're also the ocean in the drop.
Well,
what does that mean?
You're not just the drop, you're the ocean in the drop. The drop is in the goddamn ocean. I'm sorry.
So,
you know what? I'm just
I do think I understand what this is supposed to be saying, which is it's one of those universal oneness statements where we are all part of the universal oneness man.
Yeah.
But those kinds of statements are what my best friend, who is also pagan, and I say, when we hear things like that, we're like, this is why the other religions laugh at us.
Look, what he just said was, you're not the drop.
You're not just the drop in the ocean. You're the ocean.
No, you are not just you. You are everything. Because we're all everything.
You're the ocean in the drop.
Yeah.
The ocean. There's no ocean.
No.
These are things that mean things.
You know what's?
You can't be. Okay, I could be everything, but everything can't be me.
I have an example.
Yeah.
I have an example. So, do you guys ever see Men in Black? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The galaxy is in Orion's belt.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it is. Okay.
I was actually thinking about a different movie from around that same era, and I think that some of you will know what I mean when I say, when you can balance a tack hammer on your head, you can head off your foe with a balanced attack. That's a Mystery Men. There's a character in there called the Sphinx. He's terribly mysterious, and his whole thing is just saying that kind of stuff.
I mean, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes. Well, this predates that by a few years. Of course, that line in the movie is also followed up by, okay, why am I wearing these watermelons on my feet? I don't remember telling you to do that.
Okay, so there people, well-meaning non-grifters, will say things encouraged to meant to encourage thinking. And then there's Deepak Chopra.
Yes.
I want to make
Yeah,
sure
he
we're
says
all
things that
clear
are
about
meant
this
to
because
be.
I'm dying on this goddamn hill.
Pour one out for Maya, guys.
Yep.
Fusion happening between current science, people in the artificial intelligence realm who are almost more techno-utopian in their view of artificial reality, or life as a simulation, really thinking about it as a video game, and the older tradition.
Why would we do that?
None of that has to do with like any of the rest of it, other than like
Nope.
being vaguely computery sounding related. Like artificial intelligence is not doesn't mean anything about simulation theory. It just
traditions that had the mystic elements to it.
Yeah, right now
what mystic elements? Okay, is open AI like using a genie to program their large language models?
Proof they're not, man. Kip, you missed a Mystery Men reference, which I feel certain you would have actually gotten.
For $2, Left-Handed Jedi says they call it the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah,
That's where Deepak Chopra lives.
Yeah.
Preeminent philosopher scientist on this is a person called Nick Bostrom, and he talks about the universe being a simulation in a cosmic computer.
I like how you broke into a little bit of a laugh there.
Thomas
Kind
Campbell.
of like remember last. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh wait. Oh, that was her. I thought it was Gillian. Sorry.
That was her. Yeah. Sorry.
Remember last week when SR was trying to explain his dildo crystal?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
And he kept it together right up until the end, and he was just like. I was like, no, you did phenomenal. Like, I don't know how I was keeping it together, right? I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jillian?
Yeah. I said I was impressed. That was
impressive. That was impressive.
I can't go that long without breaking.
Right. But it kind of reminds me of what Deepak just did right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's just like,
yeah.
I need I wonder if like they had to like cut like the part where he just broke into a giggle fit out.
That was the grift breaking through for just a second.
Let's see it again.
On this is a person called Nick Bostrom, and he talks about the universe being a simulation in a cosmic computer.
Thomas Campbell, he calls it, like autonomous, unbounded oneness. And
100%.
It's, and he's a hardcore physicist who accidentally learned transcendental meditation and was off in another stratosphere.
How do you accidentally learn transcendental meditation?
A near-death experience is the only way that anything remotely like that could even possibly occur, and that Maya, help us.
Oh, I don't think Maya's any help with this right now.
Nah.
Okay.
Grad student.
So he's got it right.
He's got it right.
He's got it right. And why is this important?
But does he have it right?
If
I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably no. Insofar as he says what they're a physicist might write a book on meditation, and I can imagine that being valuable. I meditate. I find meditation valuable. I don't find it valuable because of like a transcendental oneness with the world. Mindfulness is a skill that's good to have. But that doesn't there's no there. When they're talking about how these things connect to like science, there's nothing of like genuine substance that is helpful. And she's a neuroscientist. Or
She
she has
is.
a PhD in neuroscience, rather.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
she's used it for nothing but woo for at least 15 years now. It's
Yeah.
really depressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
That's a
said,
great
she
word
will
for
tell
it.
you she's not an anti-vaxxer. She's just asking questions.
Why? That's a
And
question.
asserting that telepathy, she's well, saying to you too. I don't think I said this in front of the chat. She's discovered that what do you call it? Past lives are real.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that you can what do you call it? You can find out about them through telepathy.
hmm
Yeah,
I mean, how else would you
which is
find out
also
about
real.
them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's totally real because of quantum entanglement, you guys.
We realize that
Oh yeah,
everything
wait. We're gonna. I think we're gonna get to that, right?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. For all I know, it might be in the next 10 seconds. It's definitely within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
material
within 10 minutes. Yeah.
illusion, then who is creating or what is creating the
Wait, hold on.
illusion? Because if we realize that everything material is an illusion, then who is creating or what is creating the illusion? Are we participants in the creation of the universe? Literally, is this?
No.
Not.
What?
I mean, not except for in the very trivial way that, like, when we do stuff, that stuff becomes part of the state of affairs in the universe. But if that's what you meant, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Nothing.
Something very mysterious about the human species that is very biblically kind of metaphor.
Yes, Stephen Walsh. Yes, that's exactly what he is doing. Like he gives himself time to figure out like the BS. He doesn't rush it, and that's the skill he has over, I think, a lot of his competitors. Is he doesn't rush it. So yeah, I don't know. He's good at the grift.
Yeah,
Metaphorically
I'll give him that.
expressed as the apple and the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, that we know that knowledge. So AI can cause our extinction.
This
but
is
AI
really
can also
interesting because I'm pretty sure that that's not in like Hinduism or Buddhism or any of that stuff.
He said
It's in the
Well, he just
Bible,
talked
but
about
he's not
he just talked about
Christian.
the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, though. Okay.
Yeah, but he's not
Well,
Christian.
I mean,
So
we
which is
we can pull
interesting.
out our Bibles and
He's ta-
see if AI is in there.
I've been sorting books. I got 2 Bibles. Just I would have to wake up the cat. But
Oh, don't do that again. Yeah, she might like start clawing at your face. She's not a happy kitty
Yeah.
the first time.
I mean, the Bible's a long book. What are the odds that there's not a single A or a single I next to each other in the whole thing? Therefore,
I mean, the name
simulation
Isaiah
theory.
has.
I was actually
AI
just
in
thinking
it.
about that.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, fake news.
to create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. So we're at a very critical crossroads in our evolution as a human species. And AI, because it's a large language model, it's not just narrative language, but the language of physics, biology, astronomy, you name it, history, mythology.
Okay, I gotta pause because this is definitely the type of video where if I don't pause, bad things can happen.
No, I don't think she's not known for like
Oh,
what
that's
do you
good.
call it? Yeah.
It's because she wants to be part of the universal oneness.
So for $2.22, My Unfinished Journey says, Hail Nero, Hail Goddess, Taps, and Gillian. And My Unfinished Journey, hail to you.
Religion, spirituality. As we embark on this journey, we are going to see a leapfrogging of our cultural and evolution, but also our biological evolution.
Okay, I think this is the part where he says a remarkably dumb, stupid thing. No, you know what? I apologize. That was, yeah.
You had to narrow that down, right?
A remarkably dumb, stupid thing about how fast speciation can happen. There we go.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's finish it out.
Natural and evolution, but also our biological evolution. So 40,000 years ago, according to deep historians, and according to, maybe you've had him, Uval.
Okay, for the record, 40,000 years is prehistory. It's not like history, I think, is...
According to, what's a deep historian? Did I miss? I mean, it could totally be a thing. Sometimes I don't know all the things, but what's a deep historian?
It's a Deepak Chopra inspired historian.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that stands to reason.
Like that one lady who thought ancient Rome didn't exist.
Harari.
So, you know, I want to again just thank Jester for stepping into Joe's chat when I needed to get ready for the stream, and he spoke very eloquently and was strawmanned and blamed for things that he did not say. And I kind of wish we all lived closer so I could just run over and give him a pat on the back, because he did. Jester, you did really good. I wholly approve to everything that was said, and in the way, the order of the words. You did great. And the only person that didn't understand what you were trying to say was the person trying to gaslight you, so kudos. And for $5, Jester says, it would be great if Deepak went outside and spoke to a dog turd on the ground. Same effect as Peterson or DD, Darth Dawkins. That's coming from Sumami, Mommy of Crows.
Because I was like, I don't know how to parse the attribution at the end there to Sumami, because Sumami wouldn't say that. So or
no, she said that earlier in chat, and he's
highlighting the quote. Yeah,
like
a champion.
Jester is a champion. I like him a lot.
40,000 years ago, we left the rest of the human tribe because we had a language for narrative. All the animals, other animals, including other hominins, have a language.
Did you say other homonyms?
He said other homonyms. So that is not a homonym. A homonym is that two words that are spelled differently but sound the same, or is it like a word that is? It's definitely a thing.
I thought it was a word with the same meaning. Yeah, but
yeah, it might be two different words with the same meaning, but it's something like that. It is not a hominin or a hominid.
Okay. Each of two or more words having the same spelling or pronunciation but different meanings and origins.
Yeah, like
not biology. So there's an old biology, like a Latin, but he's not speaking in Latin, is he?
I mean, he could be, for all I know. It would be just as comprehensible.
So in Latin, a name which is identical to that of a different organism, the newer of the two names being invalid. The newer one is invalid.
Yeah, that's just priority for like species naming. Whoever got there first names the thing. So, because occasionally you'll have two people, you'll have a person discover something, and then they're like, oh wait, no, this already was discovered and described in this paper over here. So
gotcha. Well, yeah, that happens a lot actually.
Scientific literature is quite vast. It's very easy to overlook things. It doesn't mean that somebody's messing up, really.
For just mating calls, food calls, and danger calls.
The important stuff.
Yeah, the important. That's how we survive. But now we have this language where we can communicate ideas, but now we have large language models which combine narrative with physics, with biology.
So a large language model is an AI thing, right?
Genie. Yeah.
No, I mean that's what they use to construct like AI algorithms, right? A large language
model. Well, it's like the end result of. I mean, so exactly how some of these things work is like a little bit unclear, because you kind of my understanding is at some level you do kind of just throw a shit ton of computing power at like a neural network with a lot of layers, like a lot, and then it does all sorts of funky stuff that is very hard to track because it's an enormously complex sort of, network of crap. But and that can produce something that is able to do things very effectively, like speak in like pretty convincing speech. Like a large language model can make up a story, and they're fine. But like physics doesn't really have a ton to do with it. Like, no. It's very decoupled. It's more
I'm
about...
really glad Porpoise isn't here to hear me butchering AI like this. I'm pretty sure she would be like...
me butchering AI.
Yeah, she'd be like...
They're about predicting, like, what makes sense as the next word. Fundamentally, they're sort of predictive programs that are trying to figure out what is the thing that makes the most sense to do next based on all of the shit I've ever processed before. Now... my personal opinion, I think that that's kind of like what human brains are kind of doing to some extent too. So, but that's just me.
Yeah, human brains are a little more complex than AI, but I see where you're going with this.
With religion, with spirituality. So what I'm saying right now, which...
oh man, I just had a $1 billion idea. AI gurus.
Oh, why are you like this?
I mean, there is a website that will print you up your very own Deepak Chopra nonsense.
Yeah, that's...
oh, wait. Are you talking about the AI bullshit generator?
No, I'm talking about...
That specifically calls out Deepak Chopra.
Oh.
Yeah, there is. It's just like random nonsense or Deepak Chopra. It's sort of like the website
I like
Homeless
that.
and Professor, but... with less levity and more sadness.
A lot of people roll
in case the human species hasn't just pushed you into, oh fuck, Porpoise is here. If you weren't sad and like just ready to jump off a cliff from the human species, here's this website on
wisdomofchopra.com.
Right. What is it?
wisdomofchopra.com.
Oh God. I think like I felt like part of my brain unraveling after you said that. It hurts. God. For $5, Jester says we are not the same. When I just ask questions, the question is, why the fuck are you worshiping Lord of Fools? I am asking Deepak that now.
So this site can't be reached according to my browser. It won't let me go to wisdomofchopra.com. I think this might be one of the protective mechanisms that it does, because it sees
like, no, he's scientific royalty, mustn't lose brain cells.
Well, normally it would let me through, but it sees what I have open on the other tab, and it's like, nah, man, you can't overdose. That's bad for you.
Well, what it does apparently is it takes bits from actual Deepak Chopra tweets and randomly strings them together.
Yeah, because and then you have to decide, okay, is this a randomly strung together thing, or is it a randomly strung together thing that is also exactly something he said?
Matter of time.
Yeah,
really.
I was thinking, well, I'm Black and a woman, so my computer couldn't possibly have a problem with me viewing the shit. And I was able to get some stuff on the Google front page, but it's spinning, which makes me think that it's not going to let me go into the actual webpage.
Okay, so somebody should check if that domain is available and buy it if it is. So, yeah. Why are you not pressing play?
Well, it's not secured, so maybe that's what it might be having an issue with that too.
You're going to see the emergence of a new human species.
Oh, this was the... We almost missed it.
Go back 10 seconds.
I did.
We want to hear this.
Which a lot of people roll up their eyes, is that in 20 years, you're going to see the emergence of a new human species, because
he totally didn't. He did not lead up to this. Nothing he said before this led up to that statement. Nothing.
Other than talking about like the history of the human species and how hominins evolved,
Homonyms.
Homonyms.
how we separated from the other homonyms because now we have language, which I mean, given that homonyms are
part of language,
aspects of language, I don't know how that works, but you know, there's that. But no, he just sort of says words and then said that in the next 20 years, we're going to see the emergence of a new human species.
That happened.
Our like generational like lifespan and cycle time, that's a weird way of putting it, but whatever, is not fast enough for that to like happen really.
No.
You would have to have like a parthenogenesis sort of thing, sort of like what happened with the marbled crayfish. But I feel like those people would probably get rounded up and put in cages because people would be like, "Oh, these are the X-Men that you know, got to stop them before Magneto." Which fair point. Fair point.
On the other hand, that's how you get a Magneto.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That actually is how you got Magneto. The whole camp thing. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did that on purpose. No.
I'm not that clever.
Apparently you are.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. No, never.
But a human, because our neural landscape is changing with this large language models. The more knowledge you acquire, the brain networks adjust to that.
Okay, I gotta say, does he think that large language models are like cybernetically being implanted in oh, you know, I mean, Elon Musk does want to do that. He actually is trying to put chips in people's brains.
Yeah.
With Neuralink stuff. But there is a future where I could be into some of those ideas, not the way he says them. Not like this. Not
literally, like this. I would be afraid of an Elon Musk chip catching fire in my brain.
Yeah, no, we talked about those a few months ago. Same.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And then your epigenetic modulation occurs. So we will see a new human species in 20 years.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about
fucking
this.
Ticking motherfucker. I'm going to hold this to him. So I don't know if there's anybody who missed that. Deepak Chopra said, what was this, like 8 days ago or some bullshit? We are going to see a new human species in 20 years. Whole new species.
Now,
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm trained in neuroscience, so we have to think about.
You know, it's really not obvious based on the everything else about you, but fair enough.
About these things.
Yeah.
And, you know, the story that we kind of always tell is it usually comes up when people say, why are so many people autistic? Why do we have so much ADHD? Could the human genome have been affected?
I want to. I know she's.
What about what he said prompted that?
Yeah.
Well, she's kind of ableist.
Yeah. I mean, oh God, fuck me. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna second what Tap says at this time. There's nothing that he said that should prompt this from her outside of her just being ableist. Because as a neuroscientist, like I'm not. I am my major, my master's degree, not a PhD. My master's degree was in behavioral psychology. And but I have ADHD, so this is something I've been talking to therapists about ad nauseum for the last 15 years, like, because that's how long it's been since I've been diagnosed. My son was on the spectrum. So 2 fucking decades I've been dealing with that shit. And I just, she's not going to say it here. But the answer to why are there so many people with it is I don't know. It just
Brains are
is.
very complicated.
I'm just saying.
Like, what?
Yeah, they've done some genetic studies on bipolar, which for obvious reasons is the condition I've done the most research on. And it's a combination of something like 6 different genes that all have to be doing precisely the right order of things. And why do so many people have that precise combination of genes? Because, Maya.
Because, yeah, I mean, no. Well, yeah, we do know it's genetic for the most part. And oh God, what was the other thing? There's something else.
There's probably environmental things that can influence it, but you can't develop they'd have to be really early in like development, I would imagine.
Yeah,
right.
Well, and
because they would affect gene expression.
I think what is the other thing? I want to say, and now I want to Google it, but environmental pressures would be like increased pollution, increased like the things we're putting into our food that may contribute to it. But like we do see families with, I mean, just like with almost any kind of mental condition, they're generally just passed down. And to say that, oh, why are we seeing so many? Like, we only had a word for it since I've been alive. Like, these were just bad kids, or they were, the R word, and we put them in mental health facilities and got them off the street so that nobody had to interact with them.
I tell people I'm old enough so that when I was diagnosed as manic depressive because that's what we were calling it in those days. Yeah. Like, our understanding of mental health is so primitive compared to how complicated brains are.
Right. And so to hear a neuroscientist saying this makes me mad, because she should know better. And I'm like, I have a master's degree,
I mean,
I just, I know that just from talking to multiple therapists, working in the field, like, I mean, and again, working in the field means like, I'm regularly exposed to patients with a lot of these things. And in the normal day-to-day of my job, I have to interact with people. Like, I have to keep up on the jargon to be able to have conversations about how to, because I'm healthcare administration. So like I'm privy to these conversations and what's going to be best for the patients and the staff. So I have a better understanding than the general public, but I'm not putting myself out there as somebody who should have a better understanding of this than a doctor or a PhD neuroscientist. I get a lot of what I know from speaking with people in her field, and which is why, seriously, I work in hospitals like Johns Hopkins, even, and other like big hospitals like that in this area, where I've talked to people like her. And so to hear her, and again, I understand it's all Baltimore, so I know it's anecdotal. She isn't talking like somebody in her field. It's really upsetting.
No, she leaned hard into the grift. And I don't know if she believes it or not. I've never met the woman. I'm not going to make that kind of analysis based on what I see. But whether she believes it or not, the grift sells. And
he sells more grift than anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, but like
Trump, but yeah.
She should, like people like me and UTAP, just like such a commitment to truth and like being in the field and wanting to preserve the integrity of the field. I mean, I think that's really the norm for most people with the PhD.
Yes.
Now, we're not going to talk about, was it Georgia, whatever, in AIG?
Georgia Purdom.
Yeah. She's uniquely stupid. And I'm pretty sure
Jason
she's just
Lyle.
straight. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just straight grift. I don't believe they believe what they're saying. But like for her to have like been through this, and she doesn't present as uniquely stupid, but to like get to the point where you can call yourself a doctor and still like disregard all the information that you've been given. I mean, it's wild to me.
Yeah, absolutely wild. So you said that your master's is in behavioral psychology?
Correct.
So can you answer the question, why are you like this? Referring to her. Why is she like this?
I'm going with straight grift, but for $2.56, Sinister Purpose says...
Good number. I like that. 256, yeah.
I am sending Tapioca Weasel magnets now after that.
I'm just saying that large language models are definitely alive, thinking, conscious beings. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Wow. Shots fired.
So acutely, right, in the last 20 years. And we know that a lot of that is diagnostic. It's the way that we're sort of...
But also the environment.
But also the environment. Absolutely. The environment has changed. I was listening today to a podcast and they were saying what's changed in the last 50 years, ADHD, autism rates, and the way we treat women's health, the food that we feed the women who are getting pregnant to make the babies, right?
I want to wring her neck.
What else do we think has changed in the last 50 years?
I just want to throw this out here. Oh, God. There's no medication that causes autism or ADHD. She's not going to say that, but she's not going to deny it. And what she's saying is like hitting a couple of buttons on their grift. So I want to say it.
Look, it was pointed out in chat that one of the differences in the last 50 years is that people with these mental health conditions have more children than they used to. Because,
perhaps,
you have to be pretty severely mentally ill to be institutionalized. So it's not like,
or your new husband could just want your money.
Well, but
I mean, I'm just saying.
Good luck to him finding a bed, is all I'm going to say. There are not enough beds in institutions in Western Washington for that. But also, 100 years ago, I definitely would have been locked up for hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
75 years ago, I probably would have had a lobotomy for hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big difference. Another big difference is diagnosis rates, because somebody less ill than I am would have just been, weird Aunt Gillian. I have got so many adult friends who are getting diagnosed now, and I have friends who are like, my mom almost certainly could be diagnosed with autism if she were to go through the tests, but she's not gonna, so she doesn't show up in the diagnosis rates for her generation.
Right. But most people won't. I talk to people like this one guy, oh my God, he was probably in his 50s and he was talking about his dad that would come home from work and would never would watch TV with them, but he would never sit down. He would they would be on the couch and he'd be just pacing behind the couch with a cigarette. And that's how he would watch a TV show. Mm-hmm. He couldn't, and it's just like, it wasn't diagnosed with anything. He was just a quote unquote normal guy. Probably got smacked around a lot as a kid, especially for being stupid or not being able to pay attention or, whatever. But, he held a factory job and, a wife and kids and, they of course got smacked around, but it's neither here nor there. It's just, we didn't have the tools. A lot of the shit is really brand new. And saying 50 years feels late, even too long for a lot of the shit that for the things that we now consider to be neurodivergent.
When was the first DSM?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
It's a great question.
Because we're on DSM-5 now.
Yeah. That came out in 2013.
And by the way, that's not exactly it is not the case that if it's not in the DSM, it's fake and doesn't exist. That is not true.
1952 is when the first one came out. Holy shit.
My mother's lifetime. right there.
Yeah.
You know, before my mother's generation, well, given two of her siblings, in my mother's generation, they just drank, you know, instead of getting treatment.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, now that I'm doing this show with Maya, so do I. Fantastic.
If you don't have a drinking problem, you might want to. I would never say that.
I just said the words "get one." Okay,
you might want to self-medicate for the 2 hours during the stream. So the jury is out on exactly how bad wine is for you, but you can comfortably have one glass of wine a week. I would say that if you are a watcher of the show, this is the time you should get that one glass in.
There are a lot of reasons. That's what is in this cup, which, by the way, I deliberately drink out of this cup for this stream.
As I suspected, nice. I was right all along. Oh my God, how did you get your hands on my mug?
I got that at Target like probably 10 years ago. Now the children are not allowed to drink out of it. It's mom's mug. But, you know, it's water in here. Because my family history of alcoholism is strong enough, I'm like, maybe I don't want to mess around with that.
Fair enough.
Fair. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'd never advocate, a drinking habit. However, if you do not already have one, you can tolerate a glass of wine on Sundays. And I highly suggest that.
Yeah, there are 3 streams that I watch a week where it's like, if I drank, that would be when I would drink.
I mean, it's
is ours one of them? I assume
yours is one of them. The other 2 are Dapper.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Right? I bet the other 2 are on Tuesday and Saturday.
Yep.
No, you know what? Oh God, I forgot we are all Dapper mods. What the fuck? This is so cool. No, welcome, Gillian. Gillian, I believe you're the newest member to the fold.
I am. Back when he started getting a lot more members, he just randomly, without asking me or anything,
he never asked.
I just logged on one day and I had a wrench. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I the last time he was on here, I was just like, I'm in the chat, but like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird being a streamer in your own right. So I don't know. It's kind of weird being like Mod Maya. And so a lot of my obligations, Crystal's just kind of like taken upon herself. But for Dapper, if he never asked, but had he asked, you would have been my go-to as the person, like, because when streamers are looking for people to mod, they want people they can trust and people that are frequently in the stream. And you definitely.
Well, I've promised not to go mad with power, so.
No, you've been great, and I used to feel bad because, like, no lie, the other mods don't do a whole lot. But
hey, I resemble that remark.
You do, and Gillian's great, so I don't feel so bad. Like not. Like for the Saturday streams, like usually I'm just listening because I'm off doing.
It's the only time of the week I do chores.
Right. Like, or anything. So like, I am always listening, but to be like frequently, like, looking at every single comment in the chat, I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah. I have to say I've barely had to use my moderatorial ability. I have,
it's not bad over there.
No. Told a certain person.
Well, you can thank me for that. I did a lot of the early troll work.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that because you guys weren't there and modded during the Dapper MDD stream years.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So very early, and we need to get back on topic though. But very early on, when he was trying to grow the channel, he was doing what do you call those after shows? So a few MDD after shows that were either YEC or Flat Earth adjacent. So yeah, there's some crazy critters that came by, and they are no longer there. So you're welcome. Let's press the play. Whoa. Actually, before you press the play button, for $2, Jester says, the divine porpoise has slapped thee. Yeah. You got burned,
I'm
weasel.
slapped.
Ha.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if you just put a bunch of transistors together, it makes a
Press the play button.
So if you look at what could have happened,
my windowsill.
Literally, my only goal tonight is to piss off porpoise.
That's significant in the last 50 years. The environment, toxins, food, and kind of...
I don't like the word toxins. It's like...
Define toxins, Mayim.
It's a red flag. Like, it...
Oh, yeah. Toxins are definitely vaccinations. You know where she's going with this.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Probably meds, too.
Mental health care in a rapidly changing environment.
So anything not natural is definitely bad.
And that's why you should stop brushing your teeth.
She said mental health care.
Well,
could have happened that's significant in the last 50 years. The environment, toxins, food, and kind of mental health care in a rapidly changing environment. So that being said, I was thinking...
I want to scream. God damn it.
I don't know what her actual point there was.
So he's asking, okay, so the conversation before I let us go down like that rabbit hole of dapper modism was about why we have so many autistic people that she asked out of fucking nowhere. And then so to her credit, the things that she's listing off aren't wrong. But again, remember, the answer is we don't know. Outside of genetics, we do see everything. Schizophrenia, depression, ADHD, autism, like all of the things. We do see them genetically go down through the thing. They speculate that there may be additional things like pollutants, because we definitely do see pollutants contributing to health declines. There are also, now I'm forgetting everything she just said.
Like, lifestyle factors could also affect things, I suppose. But
yeah, so
not
okay,
that
so
much
I'm telling neuroscientists generally beat off to exercise. It cures all ills. From like autism, or say autism, ADHD, depression, staving off Alzheimer's. Like, I mean, it's like, man, like, do you have a history of mental anything in your family? Run on down to Crazy Bob's and get yourself a treadmill. Like, they fucking love exercise. So like what she's saying, like lifestyle factors, a sedentary lifestyle has been linked to poor mental health. Now, to say autism in particular, jury's out.
I will also say that's one of the ones where there's some correlation causation stuff going on, because one of the reasons that I am not more active than I am is that I have chronic pain, which I have to tell you does a number on your mood.
Yeah, I would bet that.
But I mean, just speaking to what she said just now, like when she's like lifestyle, and I'm like, to try to steel man what she's saying, maybe that exercise is a lifestyle factor, and like if it should be done, not just like, okay, if I run around the block I'm gonna automatically feel better. It's meant to be successive, and there's a lot of studies that show like the brain loves it when you move on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be anything strenuous. Just getting your heart rate elevated for 30 minutes a day. We see significant improvements in brain health, including like the regeneration of like certain brain cells. I don't know what she's talking about because she's being so fucking vague, but just trying to steel man. No, I can go there with it, just, and also because I think people do need to hear it, but I also think that people need to hear that this woman is pure fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will also bet me a shiny new nickel that when she's talking about things like diet, you say the words red dye number 2 around her, and she has her rant ready about how it causes ADHD.
Probably.
I would never.
I haven't
ever
heard it from her yet.
Anything with a dye.
She's I haven't heard it from her yet. Not on any other things. Because I almost got her. Well, she's actually almost been on the show a couple of times, and I've been trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because she does shit like this, where she'll say shit like this, where it's just like, oh, da 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 da, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's true. People are saying that maybe these things could be linked to autism, but the answer is right now there's no scientific consensus on any of it. It's all being speculated, and we don't have clear studies to indicate that any of it outside of genetics plays a role in autism or ADHD. And not only that, the reason we're quote unquote seeing so much of it is because we've finally been able to diagnose it. And we've stopped putting kids in homes or mental health facilities, and like taking them off the street and making them integrate with people, which is why we're seeing so many people. It's because we're not hiding as many people. And the way she's delivering this, I need to calm down. I'm so sorry. I'm all worked up from Joe's stream. I blame Joe.
Wait, hold on, Maya, that's not on brand.
What, to blame Joe?
Yeah, you know who you're supposed to blame.
Oh, yeah, I blame one of the weasels. Hey, you're handy. I'm going to blame you.
There we go.
There we go.
Just before we get started, this is Mouse, my robust kitty, who I'm going to let go because he hates being forcibly held places.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's got to have his camera moment before he goes.
That is Mouse.
Ooh, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. So we have the robust kitty and the gracile kitty.
Aww. How many kitties do you have?
2.
This yesterday in a very non-scientific way.
Wait, hold on. What was it?
That kind of mental health care in a rapidly changing environment. So that being said, I was thinking about this yesterday in a very non-scientific way.
I'm shocked.
My father of blessed
I
memory.
call bullshit. I haven't even heard what she said. I'm just going to preemptively call bullshit. But her thinking scientifically.
The hell you say, Mayim. The hell you say.
He passed away 10 years ago. He was a huge basketball fan. And my father was a New Yorker, and he loved the New York Knicks. So I grew up watching the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing, all the classic greats. And I was raised on 1970s and 80s basketball. But my father also lived through Michael Jordan. And we would watch all of those games. And I was thinking my father...
With anything.
Right?
Keep going.
Father's concept of basketball that he was raised with as a kid, poor kid growing up, right, in the Bronx, it had to change so significantly when he saw the things that this athlete was doing, right? But when you talk about this, when I think about my grandparents who were sweatshop workers who immigrated from Eastern Europe, who never even understood what neuroscience was that I was studying. I couldn't even explain it, right? Their concept of the world, my grandmother grew up with no electricity in the village that she fled, right? The world changed.
What does this have to do with basketball? We have a Michael Jordan clip for when people go on like this. Okay?
Oh, wait, where are we at? Here we go.
Stop it. Get some help.
I just crumbled into dust when my kids told me that was the only way they knew who he was that clip.
Oh. Well, you know what you gotta do? You gotta sit them down and make them watch Space Jam.
Yes, clearly I do. They are 8 and 11, so I get it. But at the same time, it's like, nope. I'm just going to the nursing home now, kids.
No, I came of age. I came of age in the Jordan years. It just like everything was Michael Jordan. It's just.
Yeah, I was
in Illinois though, so it's just
God.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up.
I was in LA in roughly that same.
You couldn't be in the Midwest in the 90s and not like it was. He was ubiquitous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there have been very few people who have dominated a sport the way he did.
Yeah, in LA about 5 years earlier, we had Magic Johnson, and that was
yeah. Magic or Kobe was huge too. I can't imagine what it was like being Kobe, like in LA during the
I
Kobe
moved by
years.
then,
But
so.
I've never like my parents were in Orange County during the Kobe years, but because I was in college, across the country, so I only went out to visit. I wasn't really in the culture like that. But yeah, we're so off topic.
Oh, I know.
But I told Tap, I was like, no, we're going to stay on topic today. And we have not been able to do that at all.
Maya, I have no memory of you saying that.
You're going to stay on topic. And
I will screenshot it, sir.
Oh.
By the way, Kip, I was living in LA when Gretzky came to LA to play for the Kings. So I remember Wayne Gretzky.
We all did, sure. We all did.
So significantly. So then I think about me, us, and our kids, and the way my
Did you say she has kids with Deepak Chopra?
I did not hear that. Could you rewind?
The village that she fled, right? The world changed so significantly. So then I think about me, us.
I'm not seeing
and our kids.
The video.
I gotcha. That's in our kids, yeah. The little commune that they all live in with their kids.
You're not seeing
I'm
what?
not seeing the video.
Oh.
No, I can see it down below on the feeds, but it's what I'm getting on the main screen is just a black screen.
Oh,
so
what? I know Gillian's got problems. All right, well, you can listen with the rest of us. I don't know that there's anything we can do on our end.
Yeah.
Maybe refresh.
And the way my child can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
We have a lot to get through.
Anything, and if he's never seen how to do this website or application online, his brain has figured it out. And I know that fundamentally, it's not a significantly different brain than
large language models. This is what I'm saying.
1,000 years ago.
This right here. This is how I know who's in my age group. I fucking love B.S. Lewis.
No, what the interesting thing is, everyone who's listening to this, they're also watching us?
Yeah.
Okay. Their frontal cortex right now is changing as we speak. So they could be in England.
Yeah, that's what brains do. They respond to stimuli, and they do like the brainy thing. Everything changes your brain.
I think I might have a rant. They are being stimulated by speech. Change by what he's saying in particular, I might have an issue with.
Mayim should, and she's not gonna.
She should. She should. To say the brain is changing like that. Okay, let's let him. I'm sorry. Go ahead and
let him cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in China, and their genetics is being affected in this part. Now, if we were talking,
did his face look punchable to anybody except me? Did I just because it just turned into and I'm a pacifist. I'm not. I'm going to blame Joe. I came in fighting mode, and so I'm all ramped up and ready to punch a face, and he's saying bullshit. I'm going to let you talk because I feel like I've been talking a lot, but you've got to talk on him saying that there's a biological change in the brain when people speak.
So, now is as good a time as any to tell a admittedly fourth hand, but a confirmed Deepak Chopra story. When Al Franken was doing his book tour for Rush Limbaugh's A Big Fat Idiot and Other Observations, he was collecting Deepak Chopra stories from his author escorts. And he told an author escort in a city that had recently passed a seatbelt law that he wouldn't buckle his seatbelt because he had foreseen his own death and it would not be in a car accident. Al Franken said he really wished the author escort had asked if he'd foreseen the ticket that she could have gotten for him not having his seatbelt buckled.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's a lot.
Hi.
Yeah.
Even since
Were you
you're a
gonna wait?
neuroscientist.
Whoa. You have to respond to what he just said, Doc.
To him saying that listening changes your brain. I mean, if you think that memories are in some sense encoded in a brain, then yeah, but that's trivial and not helpful. If you mean like it's rewiring things so that you have superpowers, then like what are we doing?
I'm really trying to figure that out too. So, the comment was people in China are listening to this and it's changing the genetics in their brain.
Oh, yeah, no, that part. I forgot about that word. He
Yeah.
said genetics in this part of the genetics. And what? Your genes are not changing. When you listen,
their third eye, specifically, that's where he was pointing.
Well, he's saying, I think he said the prefrontal cortex, which, okay. But none of that. I'm sorry, Doc, what were you going to say? And again, these are things that he was earlier saying was outside of time and space. So why the fuck would it change the genetics in your brain?
Because the genetics in your brain are also time-lapse, space-lapse, and immaterial. To quote William Lane Craig.
Because the genetics in your brain are also the brain in your genetics.
We were talking about something very emotionally distressing or whatever, then the reptilian and emotional brain would be activated and the neural networks would change. So
did he just activate my reptilian and also did he say emotional brain?
Yeah, he's talking about... So
we have the prefrontal cortex with the genetics, and then we have a reptilian brain, and then we have... right?
I'm pretty sure what he's talking about is the back part of your brain that gets referred to in less educated circles or more wooey circles, which are not necessarily the same thing, as your lizard brain.
Oh, right.
It's the bits of your brain that are, evolutionarily speaking, the oldest.
Because they're mostly metabolic in nature,
right.
They're not about they deal sort of with making sure the body's circuits do the right thing, rather than making sure that we can really contemplate the bad decisions that we made that led us here this evening.
Yeah, the fact that we have all made choices in our life that lead to us sitting here watching Deepak Chopra. Yes.
Maya never asked if I wanted to do this show. She just made me start doing it one time.
It's like Gillian said she wanted to do Deepak Chopra. We're doing this.
I said that I wanted to do psychology. I don't remember specifically saying Deepak Chopra.
Oh, okay. Well, she represented to me that you specifically requested Deepak. Okay, so
you actually did at the end of the last stream. Usually.
At the end of the last stream, I said Scientology.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the last stream you were in, not the last comment you made in the last stream.
No, that's fair. I said something along the lines of...
that you wanted to... Yeah, I need to find... Because I'm trying to be fair to all religions, so we don't bash religion.
No.
We bash...
no, and...
We bash bad ideas,
yes,
that sometimes people tie to their religion, and to be fair, everyone that we've bashed has a religious view.
I'm
And
not sure that's true. I can't think of a counterexample, but I would not be surprised if that were not true.
I mean,
I'd be surprised if it weren't true. Just
possibly.
because I have to look through so many people, so much of the shit, and when deciding how to like accurately frame their position and what to keep and what to leave behind, you listen to a lot of shit. Now, I'm not saying that there's people like
breakfast
tacos. No, what's the guy that doesn't believe animals are real?
Hans Wormhat.
Wormhat, yeah. So he has I believe that he thinks he's a Christian. He holds no beliefs that no other Christians like widely hold. Be really surprised if you could find a counter, a compatible Christian. But he does, so there might be people like that where it's just like, they say
Clearly
shit.
Something.
Right. Yeah. They say shit, but do they? Yeah. So, and there's other people, there's other examples like that. But I want to say everybody that we've showcased is at least a deist.
Hey, Joe showed up in the chat.
Joe? Oh, hi, Joe. I blame you.
Which, I mean, thanks for taking one for the team. I'm always the one she blames. So, yeah. We're blaming Joe tonight.
We're blaming Joe tonight. Hey, Joe, I'm in a bad mood and I'm blaming you. I'm sorry. I have been blaming you all night. And, I own my shit, unlike some people. God. I'm going to calm down one day, probably tomorrow or, after I sleep this off. But yeah, I came ready to go tonight, and I don't appear to be able to like calm down.
Do you want me to speed him up?
That would, yeah, at least 1.25, because I know we're trying to get to 40, and I don't know if there's anything else in this. Let's let him finish this thought, and then we'll jump up.
Every experience modulates our gene activity and our neural activity. That's why I'm saying in 20 years, this is a new human species with maybe extrasensory perception and remote viewing and all of that.
Okay, so
what? That's literally X-Men. He thinks X-Men is like a documentary of the future.
I believe that.
Why are you like this?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
I'm a big fan of the 90s X-Men cartoon. I'm glad they brought it back. The new episodes are fantastic. It's not a documentary.
It's not.
Well, certainly not with that attitude, it's not.
Or any attitude, really.
Well, I'm still correct, though, even though, what I said was weird because of the implication.
Yeah.
So that was on our list of things we wanted
bingo list
to talk to you
bingo.
about.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around the percentages we're talking about, and it's not in the gray matter.
Percentages of what? Wait, I didn't skip ahead. Did he bring up percentages?
I didn't think she's paying attention to him.
I mean, she's like kind of psychophantic almost. Like that shows up at the close of the video, like after, and they're like, "Oh my god, we had Deepak. This was amazing."
The way I know what they are both doing is they're not actually listening to one another. They're waiting for their turn to talk.
Yeah.
This is most of how I get through life as well.
What?
I like Gillian.
Yeah.
Our conversation, but one of the things that people who are stuck in a materialistic worldview are so hung up on is
we been talking about materialistic worldviews?
I believe what I can see.
No, we are now, though.
I maybe believe what I can feel, but only if I can describe it really well and if it's predictable and reproducible.
I mean, Mayim, that's how science works.
Well, no, she's talking about a materialistic worldview.
To people all the
Where
time.
Science, to people who value how science works.
I believe that my emotions really exist, even though they are a product of the physical structure of my brain.
We
Yeah.
can, yeah. Well, I mean, we can
Like,
actually map.
that's
We can map
not,
emotions. We can
you
see
know,
them.
Yeah, but you can't like pick up an emotion like you can pick up
no.
this tube of Carmex, right? Like
Well,
it's not.
she's saying that there are
But
things that are not real unless,
exactly,
a materialist only believes that things are like
I agree.
reproducible, or and I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's not a bad thing if you're trying to like come up with a model of how things work. I mean, God.
Okay, so I am going to hear um read one of my favorite Terry Pratchett quotes because it's an opportunity to read it.
Go wild.
Take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder and sieve it through the finest sieve, and then show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy. And yet, and yet you act as if there is
Mhm.
some ideal order in the world, as if there is some rightness in the universe by which it may be judged. Like, I am a a scientific materialist who also believes in things like justice and mercy. Because that's part
Yeah.
of the human condition, Mayim.
Just because we constructed it doesn't mean it's not real.
Right.
Like if there was no beings that could experience things, these words like would have no applicability. They wouldn't apply to anything, and it would be, I mean, whether or not they would exist or not would kind of be totally irrelevant and nonsensical. But we do exist. We have values. We have experiences, and we've got to live with each other. And unfortunately, you people are some of the people we have to live with. Why?
So I want to go back, and just kind of like to rehash what she said, not to take anything from what you are saying, but to add on to it. We're talking about, and she's saying it's not in the gray matter, but things that people who are stuck in the materialistic worldview are so hung up on. I'm sorry, she's kind of rambling here, but it's like if I can feel it, I believe what I can see, maybe believe what I can
Yeah.
feel, but only if I can describe it really well and it's predictable and reproducible. And I'm like,
What?
okay, so if I can see something sometimes, but it's not predictable or reproducible, if I can feel something sometimes, but it's not predictable or reproducible, like, what am I supposed to do with something that I mean, if you only see sometimes, it's not something sometimes, and it's not predictable or reproducible, we call those hallucinations. If I can feel things sometimes, it's not producible or like reproducible or predictable, it could be called fibromyalgia. But
Yeah.
but like I just I don't, what I really don't like is like her, like, well, sometimes, and I actually think she's about to get into this too. Which is why I want to really pound down on on her disdain for things that are predictable and reproducible.
Yeah, like, not everything in my life is predictable and reproducible because I share a house with 2 children and 2 cats.
Yeah,
But
and then you have to factor in their emotions at that time. Like,
right.
I walked past the stairs at this time and the child started crying. That might not be reproducible, but like given you can reproduce the circumstances that started that, even if not just like by what you did when you walked past the stairs, right?
Yeah, but also my kids are neurodivergent, so you're not gonna get the same reaction every time. Our household is a mess.
No. I get that. I have I have a kid that's in the spectrum. I get that. You can simulate circumstance. I knew
Yeah.
as a mother situations that should be avoided to not stimulate certain reactions from him.
Yeah. No, like
Right.
when my son is hungry, we are more likely to get certain adverse reactions.
Right.
Sometimes the kitten will just go insane.
I'm not up on the best neurological science of cats, but just saying, like, from the standpoint of a neuroscientist, though.
Yeah. No, she has no leg to stand on here, and I'm not saying she does. I'm more arguing against the idea that people with a rational scientific viewpoint insist that everything has to be completely automatically
Right.
the same every single time before we'll believe in it. I still believe in my cats. My cats exist. You guys saw them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's constructing a straw man to get to her next point, and I'm going to shut up and let her do that now.
Who feel that they understand things that cannot be measured. We've spoken to people who inexplicably see auras around people. They see energy.
The electromagnetic field.
Thomas Campbell, after transcendental meditation, said that he could see what looked like cotton candy between trees, right? So can you talk a little bit?
Those might have been spider webs.
About, in terms of what we...
Right?
I don't know what they were seeing. The person who was seeing auras, I mean, I don't know. Was that predictable and reproducible? Like, I mean, is this something?
What predictive power did it give you about the world?
I was a few weeks ago standing out in front of my house with the plumbers because we had plumbing disaster over the last month or so, and we were watching clouds of pollen in the air. And I am willing to bet that somebody who didn't know that was pollen and was coming at it from a woo perspective would have had a very different explanation of what was going on with that pollen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that happens all the time. We've all heard about the nuns who thought like the statue was crying on them, and it was actually just bugs pissing on their face.
Yeah,
it's a guide of the gaps argument, which is fine. We've been doing it all throughout human history, which is why, as a scientist, you should want reproducible things, predictable and reproducible things, so that we can better figure out how our world works.
I took a class in college called The History of Biology, because it gave me science credit but required very little math. And for our lab, 1 week, we were reproducing miracles. Because it was just growing certain kinds of fungus that produce a red dye that looks kind of like blood.
That's really cool.
It actually is a very cool class.
But was it red dye number 2?
Sadly, it was not.
Yeah.
Given this kind of framework, how far can we extend that into saying there are things that we cannot measure that do exist and are real?
So you raise a very important point.
Does she, though?
We only see things that we believe in. So seeing is not...
We only see things that we believe in. Okay.
Believing is the other way around. Your cognitive and perceptual mechanisms adjust to what you believe in. So what you see is, even the tangible is not intangible. So our new science is saying
the story about how the Native Americans didn't see Columbus's ships when they first arrived, then I'm going to rage quit like Dr. Kip.
That's a great one, Kip. No. I don't want to go to that. Now you got me with a tangent about that. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
That's okay. Neither does he.
Do we want to talk about love enhancing telepathy?
Yeah, let's go there, because I feel the need to punch a face, and all I have is this monitor with this face on it. So, and I like that. So I should probably not punch it.
Yeah, probably not.
Your preparedness.
Let's talk about synchronicity.
Don't
because
punch
a lot of
faces.
people talk about this preparedness, and what I
don't
actually
be like
think
me.
part of
Yeah.
synchronicity, because a lot of people talk about this preparedness, and what I actually think part of this is their extrasensory abilities that they don't even know they may be using.
They are dormant, non-local potentials that all of us have. Now,
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
So
Is that a word?
Non-local potentials?
Well, I mean, I guess those are words, but like,
he's
I
talking
don't
about
like them.
quantum entanglement. That's what he's talking about, and it's
okay, gotcha.
dumb and wrong.
Gotcha.
Oh,
You know,
people much smarter than him have made noises along these ideas. Roger Penrose, unfortunately, has said some, I think, fairly dramatically unmotivated statements about how quantum entanglement and stuff like links to consciousness. So he's just using lingo.
Like 20 minutes drive away from the compound of the people who made What the Bleep Do We Know?
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a non-local correlation that transcends time and space.
Yeah, they can tell you all kinds of things about quantum entanglement. And channeling 30,000-year-old Atlanteans, and yeah.
I can also tell you all sorts of things about quantum entanglement. Some of the things I tell you will be specific and correct.
Yeah, I was going to say, yours are more likely to be correct than theirs are.
You got to do the math. Like, if you're talking about entanglement with no math, the conversation better last like under 30 minutes, because at that point you've exhausted all of the parts that don't involve any math. So.
Their compound has a big brick wall out front with iron band or copper bands every now and again to break up the bad vibrations, which I guess only come from the front because the other 3 sides of their property are just chain link fence.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody has them naturally in an exaggerated manner. For example, it's one of the most popular programs right now on TV. I forget, it's called the something files. What is it called?
The telepathy tapes, right? Huh? Is it the
telepathy tapes?
Yeah. So you know how that started. I went to New Jersey.
I also have never heard of that. You've also never heard of it, Maya? You are muted.
Sorry, I was throwing a poll.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
And
to interview a kid
when we
who was
type in. Whoops! No, I don't want to add an option. I want to start the poll. Sorry. All right. What are the telepathy tapes? Oh wow! Google beat me to the punch. I just put what are TEL, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Through emotional stories and undeniable evidence. Evidence. That's wow. I need to see this undeniable evidence. The telepathy tapes offers a fresh perspective on the profound connections that exist beyond words. What the fuck did I just read?
Apparently, it's one of the most popular shows on TV. According to Deepak Chopra, talking to somebody who was on The Big Bang Theory, which may have been slightly more popular.
It has 1 season and 10 episodes. So, yeah, The Big Bang Theory, slightly more popular, and it's 20 seasons.
And spin-off, and yeah.
Exactly.
At that time, 6 years old. And the mother said he can read my mind. I said, I don't believe it. So I
don't believe that you said you don't believe it. I find
right.
You do not seem to have an incredulous, I guess, bone in your body. So
2 scientists with me and a camera.
You were the original telepathy tapes?
I was the original. So this kid, we put him in one room. his mother in another room, and we gave her a book to read. Okay, and she's not reading it loudly; she's reading it mentally.
Listen up, Kai Dickens. That's how you do the experiment.
Oh, it's really not. You know how you do the experiment, and you're not going to be able to do it because you're not going to be able to find people willing to waste their time on this. But you have all of it run by people who think all of this is bullshit.
Well, James Rand is dead, so
exactly. Like, if you want to convince us of something that we absolutely think is total bullshit, you best bring receipts.
Mm-hmm.
There's the kid is in the other room, and he's not good at typing because he's autistic, and he's trying to.
What? I don't think that's a symptom of autism. I wouldn't know.
Punch the tape.
I mean, it's a little bit of ableist rhetoric. I'm just saying. Autistic kids can type. We know. Like,
you know why? My kids
should know this
because they haven't taken typing classes.
Yeah.
This came out March 14th.
The computer.
March 14th. So I don't know when it was like, what do you call it? Actually recorded, but I'm going to assume this year.
Probably.
This year, the year of 2025, we know that autistic kids can type. It's not a valid excuse.
One of my dearest friends is autistic and also a professional film critic. Like, she types a lot.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that all autistics, regardless of severity, can type. But if you're going to, like, make this you're out, like, you're going to have to bring more facts to the table than, oh, he was autistic. I mean, was he also Black? Was that another reason he couldn't type? Like,
and a woman, probably a woman.
But he is typing what she is reading. So afterwards.
So did you just prove that he's not autistic? Is that what you're saying? By your own standards? Guys, does Deepak Chopra cure autism?
It's the power of the telepathy. He can magically type.
But only when he separates children from their parents. Only then. So, yeah.
I took him aside. Now he's grown up. This is when he was 5 or 6 years.
You took him aside and let him grow up? That's kidnapping, bro.
Oh my God.
I mean, I guess it cured his autism, though.
So you witnessed that. You witnessed a child doing remote viewing.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I took the whole thing.
Oh, but yeah, it's on YouTube. That proves everything. Oh, goddess.
This kid, I said,
on YouTube. Yeah.
He says, I love my mother so much.
That's it.
I can get into her mind, then I know what she's thinking. And he was very simple about it. He said,
what is that? Tell us what does love mean in this context of telepathy?
If you love your mother enough, you can tap into her brain and know her thoughts to the point of where you can know what book she's reading and type it on a typewriter.
You know how my kids know what book I'm reading? They saw what book I was reading.
Yeah.
Like, just because she wasn't in the room at the time doesn't mean the kid never saw what book she had.
None of this happened. He's reading an r/that happened story right now.
I'm just saying,
Oh my God. This is insane to me.
Okay, so chat, Maya is just saying that because she's paid off by Big Pharma, who doesn't want you to know that Deepak Chopra can cure autism. Okay? So, yeah.
Apparently I missed one of Bree's segments where she talked about the telepathy tapes. So yeah, I'm gonna have to confer with her. But God damn it.
It means non-local correlation or entanglement. Just like two particles. If you have two particles, let's call them Alice and Joe.
No, dude, it's Alice and Bob. You always call them Alice and Bob. You know why Alice and Bob are used? Because A, B. You got Alice, Bob, Christine, David, Edward, Francis.
Why don't we name them Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice while we're at it?
Alice
I
and
mean,
Joe.
why?
This is your fault, Joe.
Since we're making shit up, yeah. Why not change Bob into Joe too?
Okay.
Why are
For the record, you don't actually have to name them Alice and Bob, but like that. If you've never thought about it, that's why it's Alice and Bob. It's because it's A and B.
I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest we don't need to be naming particles. Just particle A and particle B is fully sufficient.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and name those particles, okay? They mean a lot to me, okay?
He's a particle.
They're like my children.
Just give it to
You
him.
don't have to explain.
I'm not a particle physicist. I am an atomic physicist. Very different.
Okay.
And they're doing a tango
Atoms,
together.
particles.
That's not the point, Maya. But yes, they are.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just because you win this round.
And they're in love. And then Joe goes off, one direction in the Milky Way galaxy, she goes off. But every time Joe moves in a certain way, she moves in a certain way. And there's no distance between them. It's
I have removed myself from the screen because of the pain that I'm experiencing, and I'm crying blood, and he's not like, okay, there's like parts of this that are like correct, and there was it's actually more painful when he's partially correct, because like when you have a fragment that like makes some sense, it lends credibility to all of the fragments that make no sense, and I don't like it. Yes, quantum entanglement does intrinsically have to do with non-local correlations of how particles behave that like reflect. It has nothing to do with love.
The secret ingredient is love. Who programmed this thing?
Yeah, Dumbledore probably.
Immediate. They're one. That oneness is love. Okay, so Rabindranath Tagore, an Indian philosopher, sage, poet, he said, love is not a sentiment. It's the ultimate truth at the heart of creation. The ultimate truth, where subject and object are one, where lover and beloved are one, where seer and scenery are one.
What does any of that mean?
It means he hasn't watched Schoolhouse Rock.
I want to tear it apart, but I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Like,
I know where to start.
I mean, okay.
Conjunction, junction, he doesn't know their function. He thinks that they're for hooking up phrases that have nothing to do with each other.
Well, I was going with Mr. Morton as the subject of the sentence and what the predicate says he does. But, yeah.
Homework for the chat. Diagram a random Deepak Chopra sentence that's over 30 words long.
Do you know how many years it's been since I have diagrammed a sentence?
I can diagram a normal.
One.
I can diagram a normal sentence. I was actually really good at it.
I
actually thought they were fun. I actually thought they were fun, diagramming sentences.
It was always my least favorite part of.
Really?
I have no idea what a participle is.
It sounds like
I can explain
that. It is.
The heart of creation. 3 years ago, the Nobel Prize went to entanglement of particles. But what I'm saying is,
if 3 years ago, assuming he's got the year right, which he does, I think it was 2022, a share of the Nobel Prize went to Alan Aspect. Alan Aspect is probably the world expert, certainly experimental expert, on quantum tests of entanglement and Bell inequality experiments. It's a real thing with real quantum entanglement with little particles, and it has nothing to do with the woo stuff. I have met Alan Aspect. Alan Aspect came to CU Boulder and was like a visiting professor for like a month and sat in on our meetings. One time at a colloquium, somebody asked a question of like, well, okay, how do we know that your experiment actually worked then? Like couldn't you have lost the quantum decoherence? And I piped up and I was like, well, no, because then that would have just completely destroyed exactly the effect they are going for. And he was like, you're exactly right. And I felt very smart. And that's
what are you
I wanted to say
talking about?
Here. It doesn't matter. Leo understands it. I'm talking
very
just
frantic.
I am very frantic. Alan
I
would
think
not
you
like
need
this
to.
guy.
Yeah, I think you need to calm down and smile more.
I'm not going to say that.
That we call love, ultimately, is the entanglement of souls.
My guy.
Love is the entanglement of souls.
I mean, that's very poetic.
I mean, so if Shakespeare
was... No.
I mean, sure, but like he thinks he's a scientist.
I know. He's wrong.
Yeah, that's what BBH always says to me, and it's very hurtful.
Well, yeah,
BBH is also wrong.
Yeah, often, frequently, only actually.
No, you don't need to get online, honey. You don't.
Oh, fuck! Was that the consequence of that action?
Oh God!
If I understood field, you could tell me science that you had done in a way that would prove that you knew what you were doing. Don't try, because I don't understand your field. But Deepak Chopra strings together words in non-coherent babble that isn't even a functional sentence of English, much less science.
Okay. And the way he gets away with it is because when I was ranting, a lot of people are also going to hear that as nonsensical babble. Mm-hmm. And it's the inability to sort of parse the difference, because like if I just constantly only, well, I guess maybe there are people on YouTube who think I do, but I don't like it.
Finish the thought.
Just because he takes advantage of the fact that jargon is hard to understand and that people don't know the difference between actual true statements about quantum entanglement and this vacuous nonsense like love is the quantum entanglement of the soul.
Oh, God.
Do you have evidence for, well, souls? Let's start there, because I don't know what a soul is, but...
Oh, yeah, it's the part of you that leaves and goes into another life after you're dead.
Which we also don't have proof for.
Well, no, because remember all the past lives?
Oy vey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And, it's a level of love that is way beyond anybody can do. But if you have that level of love, not just for a human being, for a pet. Oh, now there are many studies. Rupert Sheldrake.
That's right. We keep talking about him.
The dog knows what the dog companion or owner is doing.
When they're going to come home. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Animals are not dumb. They know how like days work. They can. They're going to be able to know when you're going to come home. It's not weird.
And even parrots. There's a study on a parrot in Kisi who can read minds. So, the fact is...
Parrots read minds. Sure. Okay, why not?
Okay. So, okay. I'm just going to read your minds right now. You guys think this guy's full of bullshit.
I've been calling Kip my emotional support Canadian, but I've also been working really hard, and Gillian probably heard this from Dapper stream yesterday, to indoctrinate him into the fold and get him a little Americanized backbone. So I'm so loving this right now. I approve, and not to shade it to Freak so much, although I get it.
I've been following that argument, and I can't believe anyone would try to school Kip on this subject.
Well, you just need to meet the Freak. However, I agree with the phrasing because that is so Maya-esque. Good boy. But he's he's a fine student. I am so sorry, Doc. I cut you off though.
It's gone forever.
Okay.
ADHD.
Oh, wait, I
Stop it. Get some help.
that is not what I meant to do.
Oh, you should have rolled with it, Maya.
I know,
It
right?
was.
Well, I have to say, I had a cat.
There we go.
That's the one I meant to do.
I had a cat many years ago who could hear me coming from the bus stop. So when he heard me, he'd come running to my apartment to sit and look at me like he had been waiting for me the whole day, and where had I been and how dare I. My cat was not stupid. I mean, he was if he thought I didn't know that he had been out because he had a jingle on his collar. So I'd hear him running around. But just because animals can learn from experience does not prove they are psychic.
Yeah.
Oh no, like animals are dumb
say.
and animals are dumb and evolution is just every other animal's journey to becoming human like and blah 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 other bullshit, rhetoric. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We're about to hit the part that Dr. Tap really doesn't like. So I'm gonna do, since we have a different crew in here right now, I'm gonna do the kind of a palate cleanser from the video that we opened with, so everybody can see it, and then we're gonna finish up.
All hail to Donald Trump, the once and future chief. Crazy motherfuckers everywhere are sighing with relief. After 4 long boring years of sanity, hooray, 'cause it is time to get a working on some seriously fucked up shit. So grab your Sharpie, Mr. T's executive order time. Tell those vile transgender people that their lifestyle is a crime. Your gender at conception is the only one for you. But since all embryos are female for the first 6 weeks, it's true that everybody in America's now female. The most feminist of nations, the first country in the world to declare that all its citizens are female. Whatever chunk you may be packing, you are legally a girl. So all trans women are women, it is written in cement. That's what the president's order said, so it must be what it meant. Congratulations, Donald Trump, you're the first woman president. 'Cause everyone in America's female now.
Excuse me just a moment. I'm a proper scientist.
Oh, yeah?
The premise of your song's amusing, but you might have missed. Technically, you embryos are neither male nor female yet. I might even say they're genderless.
Oh man, that's even better. Everybody in America's non-binary. So y'all had best get used to calling everybody they. Go put on your gender non-specific finery. And get your ass on Grindr, 'cause this also means you're gay. And it's only gender fluid people that this won't affect. I don't know if this was the plan, but hey, when you elect a fucking moron to be president, then what do you expect? And all Americans are non-binary. And let me tell you, siblings, that's just fine with me.
Gillian, is this your best non-binary finery?
I did actually. I made this shirt myself. This is one of my
nice.
shirts that I dug out of the bottom of my closet when I was looking for something nice to wear.
Beautiful. I approve.
When I was trying to figure out what to wear, my daughter suggested my new skirt. I pointed out no one would be seeing me below the waist, and she went, "Oh, that's a good point."
I don't even own pants.
No, I believe that.
All right, Deepak's about to get into some fuckery that Tap was itching to get into, so
I feel like I already got into the part that I was itching.
And in the Yoga Sutras of
you said
Patanjali,
that there was something at 43 something.
No, I said 42. It was the thing when
Oh,
he
was
brought
it
up
42?
Alan S. Yeah, it was when he brought up the thing about Alan S. Bay, and I lost my shit.
You did lose your shit.
That guy would not agree with him, okay? So, I have done experiments on quantum entanglement. You look where you started, Maya.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You said 4250. I apologize. All right,
let's talk about polarizers and the BDO crystals so that you can send a laser through and have spontaneous parametric down conversion and create two entangled photons. You tried to kick me, but you didn't kick me. You just made me small. I feel heard.
Thought I'd switched up a little bit.
feel heard. Thank you.
Chapter 3 is
devoted.
devoted.
The part earlier in the stream where I took a science class based on how much math I thought would be involved.
No, that's fair. Like totally fair. I'm just saying, but you're not.
I don't make a living at it. It's true.
I'm gonna have a stroke.
To supernormal abilities, which are the yogi, who's the original yogi of the Raj Yoga. He says that these are distractions, but they do prove that consciousness is a field of infinite possibilities. I'm putting out a course on that in 2 months, by the way, online, on how to harness psychic abilities. I don't like the word psychic.
It has a bad rap.
Yeah, it has so non-local, dormant human potentials.
It's not as
That
Tap, this is your wheelhouse.
no, okay. The word non-local, and I guess also the word potential, potentially, literally was going to be the next word in that sentence. I already explained non-local. It's when you, well, did I? It's when you have predictable like changes in measurement that in a system that is separated by faster than light distance. Basically, it's faster than light communication. God, I don't like saying it that way. It doesn't matter. Potentials are even more boring though. So they're just like the thing that the gradient of is a force. So that's not helpful. The rest of the word though that's not on me. Okay, physics did not choose like. Okay, there were a lot of words.
In 2 months,
This
by the way,
is
online
hard.
on how to harness psychic abilities.
Physics is hard.
Yes.
I don't like the word psychic.
It has a bad rap.
Yeah, it has so non-local, dormant human potentials.
It's not.
There's two other words, dormant and human. I don't talk about dormancy. Dormancy is like not a word that I use ever at work. So I'm just saying. Neither is human. Okay, I'm a scientist. A physicist. Sorry, that was offensive to other scientists, and I apologize. Physicists, we don't deal with humans. That sounds really hard.
Wait, is Al really still awake?
Al, go to bed. No, he must have woken up.
What the fuck?
No,
I mean, Al,
He's
we
complaining that
we
y'all are
obviously love you and like that you're here. We're concerned.
We're so mean to Al whenever he shows up late in one of the Sunday streams. Like, go to bed!
But for $2, Jester says, I meant to say how amazing that shirt is, but Chop. I'm sure he's talking to you and your amazing shirt, Jillian.
Oh, thank you.
Because that came around the time that you were talking about that. I love that color. I don't know if I'm even seeing the color correctly, but
I don't know. It comes across okay on my monitor, and it is a gorgeous color. And I really love this shirt. I love.
Is it green or teal?
Sleeves.
Is that green or teal?
It's a teal.
Yeah.
Okay. I love teal. Like one of my favorite colors by far. Play button.
Not as catchy, but you're Deepak Chopra. You can do what you want.
Transitioning to a new.
It's the right word.
Oh God.
Non-local correlation or entanglement.
It's not the right word.
It's just hot tip.
No, it's not. Okay, there's no. So even if you did have some measure of entanglement, it would immediately decohere because human brains, which is where you'd have to have this non-local communication happening, are warm. You don't have coherent quantum states that last. They're very classical in that way. You would have to contrive and completely unjustified and unsupported weird topological bullshit thing for this to make any sense. And you don't know what that means.
What, making sense? No, I don't think she does.
Well, at that point I was actually talking to Deepak.
Oh, well, yeah,
but,
tomato.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, really quick. I do want to thank the Kentucky Atheist for becoming a member for 11 months. Holy shit. Yay. And please continue to enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas.
Oh God, Maya, you're gonna do this to me. We're leaving the Can Love enhanced telepathy section and entering the quantum mechanics and consciousness section. Okay.
Ooh. Do you want to jump up there? I mean, because we're almost done. Do you want to jump? Because we're almost. We're at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
How
Do
to
you
get
want to?
how to get quiet. I was looking at the next section, how to get quiet mindfulness techniques, which is a weird flex.
No, yeah, let's. Oh, okay. I didn't see what you're saying. I thought that was the next section. Yeah, let's just
No,
finish this one out.
well,
Or we're entering the next section. That's what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
yeah, I was
Psychic
listening.
abilities.
Okay.
If you want her to punch up your copy, she's available after the show.
Well, what the way that we've been sort of organizing, our thoughts. We
Have
talk a
you?
lot about the intersection of science and spirituality, and it's sort of my job as the local scientist to try and explain some of these things in terms of the possibilities, that you don't just have to take that leap and say, because I believe in magic and fairies, that there's a way to understand this in terms of physics, in terms of consciousness and philosophy.
Before you have a thought,
You have demonstrated like very little effort to do any of that in a responsible way.
I not convinced that she understands
She thinks she does.
responsible science,
Yeah.
but
Like,
maybe I'm biased because she's so fucking stupid.
Can I also complain about how her books are put on that table?
Sure.
Like, I realize this is me being small and petty, and having spent my weekend organizing my
Why should
own.
we stop with small and petty now?
I mean, no, that's fair, but just they're stacked by color on a
yeah, they are.
table.
They are. Yep. It's blue
Color
going
and
down to
size.
green, and
I
then it's the
didn't.
rainbow.
Oh my god! I didn't even know
It's
that.
yeah.
That's great.
I think there's a stack missing behind her, possibly, maybe not. They'd have to be kind of small. And here they get very muted, and then this doesn't quite work because this book should be over here. It actually
Yeah.
was bothering me.
And the closest I've been able to come to reading any of what they are is one of them is by Connie Chung.
How can you see that? God damn.
I
Every once in a
also
while
ca-
they'll do a close up, and I think it's when they do a close up on
Oh,
whoever
okay.
the other guy is,
You said
and it says
Connie
Connie
Chung.
Chung in fairly large
That's
print, and it's been getting
interesting.
me all evening because
this
Connie Chung.
yeah. Is it? I don't see Connie Chung. I only see the word cynics, the word
It's
them.
black and it's a black and red book. You can't see it in this shot.
Oh, okay.
She says, yeah, she says
Oh.
when she does a close up.
When they do a close up on him, yeah, it's one of the red books behind him.
Oh,
It's by Connie Chung. I don't know what.
I'm just gonna believe her.
okay. I mean, I was
I don't know
very
why
invested
she would
in
make
see-
that up. I mean, if I'm
I'm
wrong,
not.
I'll retract
I'm
it.
interested because I also saw the book thing, and it. Oh, she's got a Big Bang Theory book right here.
Of course, she freaking does.
Worse.
For
I
those
mean,
who are unaware, by the
we-
way, Connie Chung is, I believe she was on
Maury
CBS,
Povich's wife.
and she's an
I'm sorry.
anchor on CBS. She was when I was growing up, a news anchor on CBS, and that's all there is to know. Like, I don't know if she's done anything else other than those two things.
Wow. Okay, so I looked at. I did a Google search for Connie Chung books. One
Mhm.
popped up. Her memoir.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah, I'm
for
fine with
Connie-
that.
and no shade against Connie Chung. You don't
No.
have to write anything about anything you've ever done. It's not but if I'm promoting myself as a scientist and I have a bunch of books behind me,
I might want them to be about science.
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, okay. I mean, don't be making standards that I might not meet. Actually, no. I end up pretty good there. I have books behind me. Okay, and now I'm self-conscious.
Look, they're books.
I can't read
totally
your
books.
books. I've never been able to read the titles of your books.
I can only read the author of one of the books from here, and the author of that book is Joshua Bowen, just for the record. I'm just saying.
And I mean, look, the books that are on, I own a book cart, because of course I freaking do, but the books that are on my book cart in my room right now are wild and varied, but I'm also not presenting myself as a scientist.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
yeah,
am, though,
same.
again.
Theoretically, I don't have...
Oh, no, I put my, I used to have my bookshelf behind me. They're next to me now, so you can't see any of my books.
don't have my room set up as a studio,
Right.
obviously. And I'm not trying to project an image with the books that I am presenting. I could, and one of these days I will. But, you know, right now I have books in my room like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Amazing Colossal Episode Guide.
That's hilarious. No, so what I do have is this awesome, wait, where am I at? Oh yeah, this awesome Black Lives Matter sign and this abort the court picket thing over here.
Because you just fixed the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so now everything's on the opposite side now. Yeah, my awesome Black Lives Matter, and my also abort the court picket sign that, I, not Nancy or Patty, one of them, totally didn't parade around in front of one of the Supreme Court justices' house. That was me. I did not. It feels like stolen valor at this time. I didn't get a pussy hat, but I did go to one of the women's marches. That was fun. Because I be a social justice warrior. But for $5, the Kentucky Atheist says you're half for the entertainment, Maya. LOL. I love you, Joe. You're an awesome guy.
That was their first super chat.
What, Joe? Joe's first super? Oh, it was. Look at you. So Joe's been a member forever. I didn't know this was his first super chat here. Thank you, Joe. Way to go. Leo's stuck with us. I'm kind of surprised. Leo usually only comes and joins us for the quote-unquote real science shows.
And Deepak Chopra has many things, but real science he is not.
Yeah, and then I got a DM from Kip. It's just like, I'm so fired up about Mayim Bialik. I was not ready for that. He was like, Deepak I was totally cool with, but not Mayim. And I'm like, yeah, we unleash a lot of grifters in the community. But there's a lot of grifters out there that you guys need to know about. And I am here to bring them to you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're terrible, Maya. You're a bad person, and you should feel bad.
Oh, yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
And incidentally, Alex Markle, not all of my cookbooks are science fiction based. I just have pop culture in general cookbooks. Candyland. I have the official Candyland cookbook. Which is a thing that exists, yes.
It seems like it'd be high in carbs.
There's a wee bit of sugar in that cookbook.
Yeah.
Sci-fi cooking books. That's interesting. Like how much of a nerd do you have to be to have a sci-fi cooking book?
I feel like we're gonna summon Dapper. Dapper totally has a cookbook written in Klingon. And if he doesn't, we gotta get him one.
There's an official Star Trek cookbook that I feel like Dapper needs, and it's a really good one. The author of it is the wife of a grad school friend of one of my friends, which was one of those weird coincidence things, but it's a great cookbook. And Hollyhock, I didn't, because I'm trying to boycott Target right now, and Amazon, and Walmart, and I can't, there's nowhere left in Olympia to buy things.
I got Amazon and Walmart down. Amazon is hard, but I'm working on it. I'm definitely down. And definitely only, like, if I have to order from Amazon, it's not like Amazon shit. It's like people who are selling through Amazon to broaden their market. It's hard. Amazon's taken over. Like they're like the new evil Walmart.
I'm on a fixed income, and Big Lots closed all their brick and mortar stores.
I know! I'm so mad about that.
I have to...
Yeah.
I have to buy from some less than ethical stores simply because...
Right.
But what else? There's an organization that's trying to get us to give up Target for Lent, and I'm trying to do that because I support the cause of making Target get back to their DEI stuff. And if my holding firm through Easter will make them do that, great. But I may have to cave because, like, my children may need underwear and socks.
Oh, wait, you don't have like a handy little dollar store near you?
dollar store doesn't really around here doesn't have a lot of underwear. We can buy them socks, but I can't buy my son underwear at our Dollar Tree.
At a Dollar
Are they
Tree,
better
probably
though?
not, but I don't know. We have there's a bunch of different types of dollar stores, and we have a bunch around here actually. I'm trying to, but yeah, at a Dollar Tree, I don't think you can do more
I
than
may
like
see if I
socks.
can get it at like Ross or TJ Maxx or something, because that's the option I've got left right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard. It's hard.
I know.
And I get less than $1,000 a month on SSI because, yeah.
Yeah, and let's hope that holds up because I don't know what that's going to look like at the end of this term.
Every month, I'm grateful to have any income at all and health insurance at this point, and I don't like
Yeah,
that feeling.
right. No, yeah. God, oh God. If
So
there's
that's why
anyone
I don't.
outside it, I know that, like, I mean, okay, and I tell everybody not to get too political here, but like everybody's like, "Wow, it looks really scary," or "You guys are a train wreck," and I'm like, "Yeah, from the inside, it feels like being in a train about to wreck." It's yeah, it's as crazy as it looks on the inside, unless you're a Trump supporter, like physically sticking your head in the say physically, but like
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much, just it's like train's not going to wreck. We don't see it. We don't see it, and it feels like they just got their heads in the ground. And for anybody even paying a little bit of attention, it is terrifying.
Yeah, and I do agree that I don't shame people who are in my situation for spending money where they have to get the things they need. And if
Yeah.
it were giving up Target for longer than through Lent, then I would not be doing that because I don't have that choice.
Yeah, and to be fair, like I'm not on a fixed income, so I, could probably hold out a little bit longer than you. You're supporting children. I am not I joke about like changing my name to social justice warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And calling out bigots for shit. And I'm pretty adamant about that. But like I don't like shaming people who are in bad situations and are doing things that they have to do. Be
Yeah.
it supporting billionaires or, getting a five-finger discount. Now I would never ever promote anything illegal, but I also didn't see it.
Yeah, no, and they keep talking about doing all kinds of nasty things to Social Security, which is what I live on,
Yep,
and
they
about
talk
doing
about it
all
every
kinds of
day.
nasty things to my insurance, which I need to, be functional.
Right.
And if you voted for this, well,
And sub, walk away. I don't. God, we don't need you here. I can't. It. He's doing everything he said he would do.
He's doing everything he said he would do, and there are some people who think that's good, and they are wrong.
Right. I can't. I don't want to support that. Like people who are in support of everything that Trump is doing. Like I don't need that kind of negativity in my community. Like this is like a day where we all get together to like shoot the shit and support and affirm one another and to be mentally well rested to go back into the fuckery of Monday. If you are not in that camp, I'll see in somebody else's chat that'll tolerate that, but it's not for me, not today.
No, and I also support a lot of small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a lot of friends who have small businesses. But the way forward is not cutting government expenses. The way forward is taxing billionaires.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. And again, we're not saying like, I don't know, like everybody should be paying their fair share, the rich or not. And what they're trying to do right now is to like well, I'm saying what they're trying to do, their actions have the effect of dwindling the middle class.
Yes.
And what we should be doing is trying to grow the middle class. So these their policies just aren't working for at least 90% of Americans.
They don't care about anyone who isn't rich, and they make no secret of that.
Yeah. So I'm, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm for the well-being of people, for the health and support of people. And, it's apparently a hill I can't help but die on, even when I'm trying to do. And again, Joe, thanks for supporting my rants earlier. I can't help myself. I understand it's a character flaw, but
no,
I'm going to support the marginalized, even if it makes me look bad. So, I'm sorry, Gillian. Who are you? Where are you? And what do you have coming up in the future?
I am Gillian Wren. I have been this month. I've been doing a series. I'm E. Rose Nelson. Excuse me, E. Rose Nelson over on Media Magpies. This month I've been doing a series of my Celebrating the Living has been Star Trek Voyager actors, which, boy, that show's a hot mess behind the scenes. I started recently a YouTube show on the Media Magpies channel called Depth of Field. There is one episode featuring Dr. Kip, in fact, where I talk to people with interesting jobs and interview them about movies having something to do with their jobs. I'm trying to persuade Dr. Tapioca Weasel to come on the show.
I don't think I have a link to that, do I? Did you send me?
I feel like I would have.
Okay, it is in your link.
I'm always. We haven't scheduled it, but I'm totally down. I've said this. I haven't been playing. Like, I'm not sure if I want to come. So yeah,
Yeah, and I gave you a gimme by telling you a movie that's in your field that I thought you would enjoy. So
yes, I have acquired the movie. I have not watched it. I can look it up. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Real Genius.
Real Genius. Yes, that's what it was. I will do that. I will absolutely do that. It's going to be great.
And the Linktree's got, both Magpies links, and it's got my personal Patreon, and it's got my Amazon list, which if you go into the housewares, has some of those novelty cookbooks I don't own yet. Including, I just found out Friday, the Godzilla cookbook, which exists. Which is another one we need to get dapper.
Defreak, we're not paying for any people over 100 years old or that have already died. That's been debunked. And please do a simple Google search. It will, clear all that up for you. So yeah, God damn it. I'm good. I'm going to sleep and then wake up and I'm good. Is there anything that anything else you want to show, Gillian?
Bye. Nope, that's
Doc, do you have anything coming up anytime soon?
No, but I do have something I did yesterday.
Okay.
So yesterday I was on Al Trucker's channel, and we were responding to a video that I actually filmed in my lab on Friday, actually for internal group use at work. It's an instruction video of how to turn on all the lasers and everything in our lab and get them all locked and get them all set up so that you can do other stuff in the lab. And it ended up being 10 minutes long, that video. And then Dapper and I went through it and reacted to it for 3 hours. And so that was not Dapper, Al Trucker. I don't know why I said that. Al Trucker. For 3 hours yesterday. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So you can go check out Al Trucker's channel and see that.
Yeah, I think I threw the correct link in there. So, or one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the one that Al threw in.
It was a lot of fun, and it's probably mostly still incomprehensible because I'm bad at explaining things. But
same. Only I feel like, a person who's good at explaining things wouldn't be like screaming at the top of their lungs until they're like too hoarse to do their own show. So,
I mean, I'm good at explaining things and I've been known to do that. So some people are bad at listening.
Yeah. Some people.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
She was shaming the 17% of people who didn't click the like button because their mind is outside of space and time. Would you happen to know any of those people, Doctor?
I always click the less popular option because I'm that kind of weasel. And,
I tend to click the funny option because that's,
Also, I win a lot of polls. Most of them not ones I vote in, ones I'm featured in. Tapioca Weasel tends to win a poll.
Yeah, which is why I never put them in there. Because, All
right.
So we will see everyone next Sunday for another great episode of Bad Science Sunday. I want to thank you all for coming through this week. Gillian, thank you for being such a great sport.
You're quite welcome.
And I'm sure I'll see you Tuesday night in Dapper Shot. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.